And we're recording. Round two, baby.
Round two. We're about another week in.
Yeah.
And
I think ultimately swinging that around. Yeah.
Can you hear me all right?
Much better. Ultimately, I think we're 3 weeks in now.
Okay.
Maybe more. So we had a few topics. One main topic that we wanted to talk about today, and that was how to stay motivated and how to kind of continue to just get some form of workout in and stay healthy throughout all the uncertainty, right?
Yeah. I think the initial 2 weeks of the quarantine are over. There's kind of like an initial buzz you get with something like that. That's wearing off. I think for a lot of people, it's reality now that this is going to be at least another month. As the president said, everything's still going to be shut down for another month. So where do we go from here? I think some people are experiencing different levels of, I don't know. I wrote down like melancholy, exhaustion, emotional breakdowns. These things are becoming realities. I know we were talking earlier about how, we have a bad day, we feel unmotivated, we feel a little drawn, exhausted, but then we find something to kind of pick ourselves up and get ourselves to get moving, to make the right decisions on our food and go from there.
Yeah. I think for me, it's been an up and down journey these last few weeks for sure, trying to find the positivity throughout everything. I think as the days go by, I start to realize there's a lot more positivity and happiness in being able to take the time to do the things that you've been wanting to do, like we spoke in the last podcast. For me personally, I've been able to work out a lot more than I typically do. It's very ironic. Like I was saying, being in the gym so often, the last thing I wanted to do was take that free time that I had and stay at the gym. I'd rather go home and do some hobby stuff and like work on the house, which makes me happy. And now I have so much more time. I could finally fall back in love with working out. And I think that's kind of what sparked the idea today, is how to stay motivated even when you don't want to do it.
Yeah. I think we all do want to do it. That's at the root of it. It's just, life can get to you at times. So we have a few strategies we want to present. Do you want to throw the first one out there?
Well, I don't exactly remember the numbers that you said, but
sure. Let's say something along the lines of, what if we, you pitched the idea of just showing up.
Yeah.
And when we're in reality and everything's normal, just showing up means, all right, just get yourself to the gym, you'll do something. Just book a session with your trainer, you'll do something.
100%.
Some of that can still apply, but it's a little bit different now. I also say something like, think about what's the effective amount or the least effective amount of exercise you can do to kind of spark it.
I get it. So it's like, what's going to get you over that hill to just let that snowball into something? So like, for example, for me, I can make an excuse for a lot of different things. Like if I didn't want to work out for that day and I didn't have workout gear, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't have workout gear, I'm going to go home. So, now that people are home, they have a few options. There's tons of body weight programs out there. They can hire a coach. They can go for walks. And these are all things that we'll get into. But for me, I know that as long as I can start to get so far into the workout that I just drip one bead of sweat, I know at least I got something in that day. And the thing that led me to figure out, like, at least just get something in was the motivation I had for, I guess, for today, another workout I did, I followed this Instagram account, Row Battles, and I have a rowing machine, and I was able to use my rower and watch the challenge that they gave on their Instagram. So they had, a certain workout. They had other people post their times, and that's kind of what motivated me to do it. So I was able to follow a plan. So that was one main thing that helped motivate me getting through that workout. The thing that made me work even harder within the workout was the challenge. I wanted to beat other people in that time. So right there was 3 things that were able to help me keep it going, or at least get something in. It was, just show up. So for me, it's my garage. I would just walk to my garage with my workout gear on. Second thing was I had a plan, right? I was able to follow something so that if I did walk in the garage, I didn't have to think about making some workout up. Even though I'm a trainer and I've made thousands of workouts up, the thought of me having to then think of what to do for that day, I can make an excuse to say, no, I'm good. Right. So those are 2 main things that I feel like really helped motivate me. And that last one was the challenge. Join a challenge. I can't hear you. You're muted. Nope.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay. I had minimal effective dose is what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
And just like you said, you just get in the garage, maybe outsource the idea of a workout, just look outside of yourself, because it's so true. I mean, if you had to write a program for a client right now, you'd have no problem.
No problem.
Write a program for yourself sometimes is a problem. You can do it, but sometimes it gives you more challenge than it actually should, right? Because for whatever reason. So minimal effective dose is what I was thinking of. And when I think of myself, what I've gone through, I just say, what can I do that just doesn't take a lot of effort, but will change my state, will get me moving? And for me, that's to either do one of 2 things. One would be just go outside and walk around the block a couple times, just get the blood flowing. Totally. And number 2, just go in my garage, drop on the floor, and do 50 push-ups. Something like that. Just something to kind of snap me out.
Yeah, it's like a trigger that's going to, if you do this one thing or that small thing, it can then snowball effect into a 20-minute workout or an hour's workout. For me, I'm such a huge fan of these like 20-minute bursts of workouts, and it doesn't need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half. If you get 20 minutes of hard bust-ass work, I'm good with that.
Yeah, today is an example. The early portions of the day, I wanted to get a workout in earlier in the day, and I got occupied with other things that also needed to get done. So they were equally important. As the day went on, it was getting closer to the point where it's like, all right, you have to do it or you're not going to do it. So what I ended up saying is you need some sort of challenge, Ross. You need to do something you haven't done in a while. And I've started to run, but it's more like a jog. So why don't I give myself a little personal challenge? Why don't I do a time trial for a 5K? Mm-hmm. And I just went out there and I said, you're going to run a 5K. If it takes you 40 minutes and you have to walk half of it, you're still going to do the 5K because you need to make a benchmark today because you haven't ran a 5K in almost a year on like a time basis, right? Yeah. So I went out there and I just busted my butt and I was running as hard as I could, just sucking wind, lungs hurting, legs burning. And I got done. I pretty much collapsed afterwards. Like I did some yoga, calmed down a little bit. But I got a time that was respectable for not running a 5K for almost a year. Uh-huh. And I was very happy with the result. I was happy with the time. And it completely changed my entire day. And
100%.
we have to remind ourselves, and that's like a little mantra you got to keep in your head, is that don't think about how you feel before you do the exercise when you're like, I feel groggy. Think about every single time after you do the exercise, how good you feel, and focus on that.
I say this all the time. And, we deal with people and who want to lose tons of weight, and we've each gotten clients lose, hundreds of pounds. And I think about all those clients and those people out there who want to lose 50, 75, 100 pounds, and getting into that workout routine that we're talking about, staying consistent and staying motivated to keep doing it is very difficult to do because they don't get to that feeling fast enough.
Yeah.
And that feeling, I know this might kind of turn into something different, but I'm saying that feeling right there is the feeling that exactly what you're saying, you need to hold on to and keep at the top, right? Don't let it go deep in that bag. Keep it right on the top so you can always remember, I feel fucking great,
Yeah.
And that's how I felt after this. Like I was telling you guys, I busted my ass. I haven't pushed myself that hard in a long time. But right now, like I took a great, awesome long shower, put a little fucking micro scrub on my face, lotioned up. I feel fucking great,
The funny thing about what you're saying is that I did the same exact thing. I did like a sauna shower. I just sat under the hot water, and then I went Wim Hof style, boom, all the way over to the right, and just cold water and just froze my body. I even timed it 2 minutes under the cold water, shoulder, arm, leg, back, butt, chest, and I just froze myself out. And when I got out of that shower, like people always say, oh, I wish I could bottle that feeling after a hard workout, after you recover from that hard workout, how good you feel mentally and physically, how you're just de-stressed. Nothing matters as much. The worry goes away. Any type of, I don't want to say depression, but any type of like, emotional jargon that's going on in your head, that mellows out. You calm down and you just chill. You don't need drugs.
And your mind is a lot more clear, Yep. After I do something like that, I feel like, oh my God, I'm going to go to work. I could do shit right now. I can create,
This makes me think of, you can do a lot of this stuff on your own, but it is good to have like people to do this with. We're sharing our experience, and now we both had it individually, but I see you, posting videos of you and Sam going out walking the dog, going for jogs. The other day, in Instagram Live, where you guys are working out together. And that's another big way you can stay motivated, is have some level of accountability, whether it's with a spouse, a friend, something
100%.
Like that.
And you know what? It doesn't even have to be someone you see. It could be someone online. And as long as they're helping hold you accountable and keeping you consistent that way, that's totally great. I'm just lucky enough that I do have a wife and that we have a dog that we can walk. And, I was talking to my brother today, like about finding happiness in all this uncertainty. And he's like, you take the dog for a walk with Sam and, find happiness in that, which I do. And that is another thing that kind of should keep you going. I know we're all stuck indoors and things like that, but you can go for a walk. Go for, like Ross said, go for a walk around the block. Or, for us, we have a dog, so we go for like a 45 hour-and-a-half-minute walk where, we're at a solid pace. We're talking things over, and it feels great at the end of it, And then, working out with someone is awesome. Maybe right now you don't have that you can't get into that situation, but you can still kind of challenge your friends, Yeah.
The state we're in now is very different than where we were a few weeks ago. And the reality is that we need to just keep moving. And the idea of like, oh, I smashed my workout today. That's fantastic if you did, but for a lot of us, it's not about smashing right now. It's just about staying healthy, getting a couple good workouts in, and not losing the momentum that you have had from working out consistently in the gym with the trainer, by yourself. Dealing with the inconvenience of being isolated to your house and your neighborhood and your backyard, and still being able to make that magic happen. It changes. You don't have the same tools, but you should still have the same mindset. And as long as you have the same mindset, you should be able to create whatever with your environment, right? The environment's changed. It shouldn't be your mind. If you're a healthy, conscious person and you value committing to the healthy lifestyle as one of your number one most important things in life, then you find a way, you know, and that's what this is kind of all about. So we're two trainers that, you know, have always worked out in the gym and done really challenging, hard workouts, lifted heavy weights, and we're talking about taking walks with our dog, or
100%.
And it's just reality right now. It's okay if you have a full gym in your apartment, or you have an iron paradise like The Rock. Go for it, kill that workout, destroy it. But you know, I'm not about to order $1,000 worth of new equipment, let alone with partially sort of unemployed, however you want to look at it right now. It's kind of a weird, I think a lot of us are in strange places where, it's just a strange place to be. I'm not in a position to be buying and creating a home gym. Just
and you know
not
what?
where my money
that's
is.
totally fine. And there's so much out there that you can follow, and you know, obviously you're a trainer, but if we're talking to other people who are not trainers, and you feel like you've lost that creativity, you know, in finding different workouts that's going to get you motivated, there's tons out there. And you know, I will tell you, you can totally reach out to Ross and I. We have billions of workouts in the books, and even just body weight stuff that you don't need any equipment. You can use, you know, something that at least makes it tough for you. You know, fill up a backpack, you know, use, you know, heavy water bottles with ice in them, whatever it may be. You know, you can come up and get creative that way.
Well, barring critiquing the technique of some of the exercise videos we've seen on Instagram, Facebook, and social media in general, forgetting about like, oh, the back should be straight, oh, they're not going full range. What's good is that people are inspiring each other and they're encouraging everyone to keep it up, and they're putting challenges out there. And I know for myself, just seeing some of this has motivated me. But I also, besides stuff that I create in my own garage, you know, I actually look outward for help. And the way I've done it, my own little example is I will go on YouTube and click in Vinyasa Yoga and do a Vinyasa Yoga class, and I'll just be guided through it. Now, in my own crazy head, I could do my own Vinyasa class if I said, like, do it. But it's good to step outside of yourself. It's good to ask for help. And that's a small way that I've actually just done it myself and asked for help, is just by going on YouTube. And I know some other friends that, you know, are group fitness instructors that are also hosting classes. I think most people are charging by now, but people aren't breaking bank with this. It's not like a huge investment. Like, you can still get good workouts online, especially in the group fitness realm, Pilates, mat work type of stuff. $5, $10, $15 a class, which isn't crazy considering like what a membership costs.
That's less than half than what it normally is outside of quarantine, you know? Yeah.
My yoga studio actually is posting yoga workouts every single day. They're not just playing them at a certain time. They're also posting them to YouTube. Yoga Flex, Comac and Locust Valley, where you can find the greatest hot yoga on Long Island. Give them a little plug.
I've heard good things about that place.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The hottest yoga ever. But they have great variety, and they're doing a lot of their different styles of class, and they play them at a certain time, and then they just post them right up to YouTube, and they say, listen, we're all going through a challenging time. If you want to just watch the video and do it, great. But if you want to help us out and do some level of donation or pay for the class for whatever you think is fair, you know, you can go to PayPal and give them a donation. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
You know, because there are people out there that don't have a job and they're like, oh my God, yoga is my only thing I have, but I just can't afford to pay for it right now. And I love my instructor, Gene, you know, and now they can still get Gene on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's at least
cool.
An
amazing thing. And there's so many stories out there like that. Yeah. And, you know, we're talking about staying motivated and how to stay consistent and, you know, just keep trucking along. So we came up with a few a few of our top things that kind of keep us going. You know, one was just like put on the clothes and start, just get something going. The second one might be like grab a partner or challenge a partner or join a challenge of some sort, right? A community of some sort. Find something online. Maybe third was, you know, hire a coach. It's totally fine. There's affordable coaches out there, and you know, we're personal trainers. I would love to have a coach. You know,
Yeah.
no, it's we can create all these workouts, but I would still love to have a coach. So a few of those things. Lastly, you know, create some form of routine. I think that if you know, you just do a similar thing each day, like we were talking about going for walks. At least get your walk in, get your steps in so that you can get some fresh air in this quarantine and, you know, get your mind right.
Well, I think what you're alluding to is have some sort of a plan. And, you know, maybe there's some questions you have to ask yourself because we were talking about how different this is, what we're going through right now versus just a few weeks ago. And what are your goals right now? Like we said before, maybe it is to gain 10 pounds of lean body mass over the next 2 months with home workouts because you have a full and complete gym. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's like to reconnect to body weight exercises, get your body to loosen up, and take a few, you know, weeks off from lifting heavy like you have in the gym for a long time. Maybe it is to say, hey, it's getting nicer out. I used to lift 5 days a week. I'm going to lift 3 days and I'm going to go run another 2 days, which is more of like what I'm doing. I just want to have more sweat work in there, and not from like lifting heavy, just going for longer walks, going for jogs, doing more endurance.
You know what? Maybe it's just, holy shit, I finally have the time to do something for myself. You know, there's a lot of people out there, and I know for sure there's people who have much more time than they usually do. They can finally take the time to, you know, put forth some effort for themselves and work out. Then you have the complete opposite side of the spectrum where I've spoken to many of clients and many friends who are playing teacher, are playing parent, are playing, you know, worker, employee, boss, and like all these different things. And they only have that one special time out of the day, whether your kids are asleep or your kids haven't woken up yet, to where you can finally get something in. And it's that time you need to cherish and figure out and plan for and have a goal for that specific time. Have a little to-do list for that specific time so that you can at least get something done.
Well, that's where you could start crossing some of your goals for the day, not necessarily multitasking, but if your day is chaotic, maybe you're someone who is still working, you get home and you want to work out, but obviously there's no more gym and you want to spend time with your kids. Maybe your workouts turn into baseball practice in the backyard, you know? Maybe your workouts turn into going to an empty field. If I don't think they have like elementary schools closed off just yet. I know some parks are.
Yeah,
but maybe that means you grab it. Maybe if you go, if you find like an open field or in the backyard, you grab a soccer ball and you play soccer with one of your kids for an hour and you work drills. You don't just, you know, watch them go through stuff. You actually get your hands dirty or your legs dirty and you break a little sweat and you do it. Maybe that means that this could be a bonding agent between you and your wife. Or maybe it means that you reconnect with your personal trainer who's, you know, who don't have anybody to train right now. and you set up.
There's great options for that. There is fantastic options for that. But I like what you're saying, like get the kids outside when it's nice out, get moving with them. Don't just like roll a ball out there. And kind of what you're alluding to is what our next call is going to be about is, you know, we're going to have two other guests on here, a professor, friend of mine, and a principal family member of mine who are, you know, in charge of getting the masses of kids working out and moving and motivated virtually or, you know, distance learning style. So we have some ideas for you parents who are struggling to kind of keep your kids active, and it is coming. So stay tuned.
Yeah. And that's, that goes with just trying to be active, be a good example. And you got to fill your day up with stuff. I mean, if you
Yeah.
are one of the parts of the population that does have a lot of extra time, you have to do something. And being physical with that time is a good idea. I mean, I even, once again, just use myself as an example. Other motivators, you can listen to audiobooks while you work out. You can listen to music. But I like podcasts. So the other day I said, I'm going to clean this garage out, right? So I said, I'm going to clean for 2 hours. I'm not going to stop moving. This is going to be physical. This is how I'm going to get my 10,000 steps. And I put on the Joe Rogan podcast with Brian Callen, laughing, moving stuff, picking stuff, throwing stuff away, just cleaning. And 2 hours like that went by, and that's, like we said this in the first podcast, and it's so true. If you have a physical job and you're out of that job right now, you have to think about that. Your body's used to working at a certain state.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop doing what your typical day is, meaning that if we walk 5 miles every single day, well, in the past 3 weeks, we haven't been at work. We haven't trained 6 to 8 people a day. We haven't walked that 5 miles every single day. We have to make up for that, or else we're going to gain a little bit of body fat. Because I don't know about you, but I may have baked a couple more batches of cookies in the past 3 weeks than I have in the past 3 years.
Oh my God. I feel like we have tried every recipe in the book. And the problem is, if you start baking in the afternoon, you have your afternoon baked goods, and then you have dinner, and then you're like, well, there's some leftovers, so I'm going to have the rest of those baked goods.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, how do you stay motivated to keep the nutrition locked up when comfort food, I mean, just hits the spot so good right now?
And I think, that could be an entire podcast in itself, is that, I know for a fact that people are cooking way more than they have ever cooked in their lives. And it's time to start getting creative. It's time to try new foods, try new recipes. And we're going to definitely start talking about that a little bit more. I think that we could take an entire podcast when it comes to cooking and trying new foods and trying to stay motivated to eat healthy, not just work out.
Well, especially when you think of, I've been trying to put an order into Whole Foods for home delivery for like 4 days unsuccessfully. And I may go out just to Whole Foods, like, apparently, with a bag over my head, and
they got walkie-talkies letting people in. It's like,
is it like that?
Yeah, and it's like no one's in the store. You can run through, throw shit in your cart, and you're wearing gloves and swim goggles. But it's crazy out there. And
so I mean that goes into how you're eating. I stocked the shelves of my house pretty well.
Yeah,
but it's harder to keep certain things for longer periods of time. I've run out of eggs. This is such a staple. I need to have my eggs.
Yeah.
The salad mixes. I've run out of salad mixes now, and I don't have my salad in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Now I have a lot of frozen foods. I have stuff that's frozen. I'm defrosting right now. So I'm not going to starve. And there's plenty of good stuff stocked up, but there are certain staples. Like we always talk about this, and I'm sure you coach the same way I do, where you tell people, like, listen, you should be going shopping twice a week to ensure that you're having the most fresh foods most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I always do. It's Whole Foods on Sunday and Trader Joe's on Thursday.
That's why, with the situation we're in right now, it's completely different. And, typically we do food shop twice, maybe even 3 times a week just to get that extra thing. But, now it's all about putting $300 worth of groceries in the cart and hoping to not have to go back for quite a while. So it's how to shop for that stock up. And And then what do you do with all that food? How do you plan it out? How do you know what to eat? How do you, there's so many different questions that I'm sure people ask themselves or ask people like us on, like, where do I even start when it comes to creating this menu for the week, and I think we should hold off when it comes to nutrition because we both have so much knowledge when it comes to that, and we can definitely talk for 2 hours straight on that.
So I'll do the review this time if you like. We'll go over point by point. Just kind of show up, and what that means, in reality, when we're or let's say what that would normally mean is like just get your butt in the gym, right? Now it's a little bit different if you're stuck at home, as we all are. It's just get yourself into your home gym, put some music on, and go. Just get yourself outside. Go for a walk around the block. The minimal effective dose that's going to create a change in your state.
Put your workout clothes on. Even if your home gym is your living room, put your workout clothes on, put on a playlist. It could be one of those five different things that you just said.
A little Lululemon, Viore. Don't forget those brands. Don't forget about them.
Don't forget.
Still got to look good at home. Number 2, have some sort of plan. Reassess what your goals are right now. What would your week ideally look like? And what do you have to work with? And then kind of go from there. So, all right, I want to add more endurance. Okay, you can still run around the block. You can do more endurance workouts. There's plenty of apps, a lot of stuff on Zoom right now. And you just have to find what fits for you. But there's a ton of body weight workouts you can just download.
Yeah. If you know what, if you're really struggling, there's coaches out there looking for work for sure.
Yeah. And that's where it also comes in. Like, number 3 would be a challenge or a competition. Reach out to some of those friends that you haven't seen in a while, maybe some of your gym buddies, and say, hey, dude, I'm struggling through this. Let's put together some sort of challenge. You know what? Today, I'm going to set the workout. Tomorrow, you set the workout. Day 3, Freddie's going to set the workout, or whoever. Yeah. Doesn't matter. But try to get like a little circle of friends. I know it's been great since the quarantine has happened. We've had a group text, as I'm sure a lot of people have, of like 7, 8 people where we're always just bickering back and forth. But maybe you put together like a fit, group text where someone puts out the workout.
Yeah.
There you go. Come on, trademark it. Trademark it. But yeah, someone like posts a workout through a text message. And, and everyone does it, records it, posts it on Instagram, and then you come back and you all give your feedback to it. Like, oh, you suck. That workout was so hard. So some level of challenge or competition. It doesn't have to be like the crazy weight loss challenges like, you do it, people would do at work. It could be something that's just between you, your friends, or if you are still working with the trainer, maybe even bring that up and be like, let's work on something. Let's get a skill going, whether it's like something like animal flow, whether it's, if you have kettlebells, it's, mastering the art of kettlebells. Things like that, 4 is, this is kind of like 3, but have someone to share the experience with. We talked about maybe working out a little bit more with your kids. Scott and Sam, husband and wife, going out, walking the dog together, getting some good quality time together, but also breaking a sweat while doing it, a double whammy. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. And you know what? Even if you don't have someone, find someone on the internet. There's plenty of communities out there that will gladly accept you into their kind of group per se. And want you to add in value to it and, go for it. Ask for that help and put forth that, value that you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I almost like put your own little, no, that's kind of like number 3. Never mind. And the final thing is just try to be more active in general. And one of the great things you can do for that is to just put some music on, throw a dance party, right? Put an audio book on, learn, and just go for a walk around your block. or do, just do some yoga, some stretching, whatever it may be. Even, we're all watching a ton of Netflix and the Tiger King and all this. Who says you can't get on the floor or even on your bed or wherever you're watching TV and just start stretching, or set a clock for every 10 minutes, and every 10 minutes you have to do 10 push-ups, or like me, you put on a podcast and you just start cleaning for hours. Look for ways to be distracted, almost like procrastination exercise. It's not even procrastination exercise. It's being effective with your time, but it's distracted exercise. Let's call it that.
Yeah. You know what? I think all those examples of how to stay motivated are, or should be staples in everyone's week, whether you're hanging on to just one of them or you have all 5 in your tool belt. Try your best to at least get to 3 of those things. And I think that's what's going to kind of keep you sane, and that's what's going to keep you consistent throughout each week. Ross had said, like, have a plan. One thing that worked great for me right away is yesterday I wrote out my plan for the week. Sam was like, we need a to-do list, and what your to-do list is during the day when you have more time than you typically do. So for me, it was like, I'm going to have 3 hours dedicated to business, 2 hours of working out, 2 hours of doing like arts and crafts, build shit, another hour or so just to like, hang out with friends, work on stuff. And I think if you create a schedule for yourself and get in that routine and hang on to 1, 2, or 3 of those things that we stated, I think you're in a good situation right there.
Scott, on that, I have nothing else to say. That summarized perfectly.
Cool. So I'll finish with this. I just would like to show everyone, these are our Instagrams. This is Ross. Ross is at RossFitza right there. And me, I am at Scott_Schrat. So those are our 2 accounts. I hope you guys follow us. We'll have more coming at you soon. Next episode, a special guest, Ross, another Ross, and my brother, Nick. And I hope to see you guys soon. Any questions, put them in the comments. Follow Ross and I, and we'll see you guys.